raising awareness through every track. All-Star PD Sportscast on the rise, shouting loud, reaching the skies. Can't stop, won't stop, our game is strong, fighting Parkinson's all day long.
Welcome everyone back to another episode of All-Star PD Sportscast. This is an important show, one that means a lot to my heart. My incredible co-host here to this side. I know I always get it wrong. But Tim Locker from My PD Party, please follow him, support him on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And this is a show very important. Again, I say it 100 million times because here we discuss the world of sports and slowing the progression of Parkinson. But even more importantly, individuals who really inspire us worldwide. And I want to throw the show to welcome Tim back for another amazing episode.
Hey guys, what is shaking? So listen, George, we've done a lot of shows so far, and you know, with guests like this, I get like a kid in a candy store because I want to know the secret sauce. Because I mean, listen, certain people we have on, I could do pickleball, I could do golf, I could do certain things, but 2.4 miles of a swim, 112 miles on a bike, and 112 and then 26.2 Ironman. Listen, I don't know how I make it from my bed to my car most mornings in the garage. So I'm so excited to talk to this gentleman. So I'm going to let you introduce him.
Well, again, it's an honor to be back with you, Tim. I'm always
Yes,
excited for the next one. And the great thing is we're actually in the middle of the NBA playoffs. I'm depressed sometimes.
uh,
The elbow too from Spurs center was interesting. But we need a whole show on some of the stuff.
uh,
And congratulations in a way to the Knicks. But I hope the Thunder doesn't roll right over them too.
yeah.
It's cool to see the city, at least my hometown, Brooklyn, to celebrate basketball. I remember Patrick Ewing days. That was the time. So back to the show now. Just wanted to really welcome a super duper welcome, if that's possible, to our guest Greg. Not only do you motivate us, but I know you motivate many people worldwide. So wondering if you could start the show by telling everyone a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a father of two, live in South Florida, a New York transplant. I was a Division I basketball player,
Oh, wow.
so a sports junkie from a young age. Always wanted to play basketball in college, and grew up on Long Island. Went to a high school called St. Anthony's High School.
Yeah.
Ended up at Loyola University of Baltimore, and made my way onto the basketball team. Played 4 years, had an unbelievable experience, and I think it's paved the way for me to learn perseverance, because there was many times that I could have easily quit basketball in college for not playing or injuries. And I finally got a chance my senior year, and I look back now and it was the best decision of my life. Parlayed that into, unfortunately, going to get a job in the real world and
Don't
working
we
in a
all?
family business in Long Island, New York, and decided in January 2010 to start a business of my own in New York City in the insurance business. So that was one of the best decisions of my life. And then moved to Florida right before COVID. Took a chance to take the kids down to grade school out in New York City, play some sports. And I ended up getting a call on March 24th, 2023, that nobody wants to hear. And it was my neurologist. It said, Greg, I'm diagnosing you with young onset Parkinson's disease. So my world turned upside down at that moment.
Now, Greg, let me ask you before I ask you a serious question. St. Anthony's, is that Coach Hurley or no?
No, that's Jersey City, and
Okay.
there's one in Long Island as well.
Okay.
I kind of wish.
I think you turned out just fine, bud. So listen, as somebody who suffers from Parkinson's, I'm very big on the mental aspect of it and trying to keep it positive. And I'm not ashamed to say I went through a very dark place after my diagnosis. So if you don't mind telling us, you just said what I always say, you got the call nobody wanted. Here's the brochures and get on your way and go figure out Parkinson's. You're an athlete. I was an athlete too. Not to the level you are, but what's that mental cycle like? Talk to us about after your diagnosis, and did you go down any rabbit holes, and how'd you find your way out?
Yeah. The first year was full of frustration and depression and scared. Another part of me was actually relieved because I was really struggling to figure out is this what it feels like to get old, or is something wrong with me? And it's hard to have people feel bad for you when you're finishing a couple Ironmans, when you're complaining of not feeling well. But I was really struggling in training. And that's, thank God, because I knew my body so well. I knew something
Right.
in the engine was wrong. So I kept pushing and kept failing and finally went to the doctor. But to answer your question, it's really frustrating the first year, and I reached out to a couple people to that I saw doing some tough things, and I asked them what medication they were on. And once I got the right doctor, the right medication, and I felt better, I said, okay, I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. I can't live like this. I got to get up and I got to be a leader and a captain and try and pave the way for some other people.
Listen, every morning you're going to make the choice to either give up or get up. And I
Yeah.
always say that the most important conversation you're going to have in the course of a day is with yourself in the morning. You can't have faith and fear at the same time. It's either one or the other. So you got to use faith, use something that's going to get you up out of bed and tackle life's obstacles. And we all know what that entails with Parkinson's on a daily basis.
Yeah. I just want to piggyback on that. The hardest part of the entire day are those first few steps.
Yeah.
And I try and explain that to some people. And I always say I'm going to set up a video camera. But the walk downstairs to get your medicine and that coffee is it's the biggest challenge. After that, everything feels easy to me.
I'm not at that point yet.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, I don't have Parkinson today, and I had a shot in my ankle, my shoulder, and might be doing the back court stimulator again in a few
Yeah.
months.
Listen,
We're all in
Greg,
this together.
me and you have PD, but this guy's got it a lot worse than we do. He's got more problems. He's got more problems than we do. So
Well, I'm glad we're all still fighting by each other's side, no matter what, no matter the obstacle. And I wanted to now touch on something because I had an honor. I mean, even though I've had 4 back surgeries, I try because I do love running. It was part of my life and basketball too. I still play, but not like we used to. But I ran a 5K just this year for Michael J. Fox Foundation, a 5K for the Parkinson's Foundation, 5K for Together for Sharon, and then this Saturday for APDA. I barely can make them to the end. So what I'm trying to
Yeah.
wonder is, because my wife and I even talked about marathon. I don't understand. Even the Disney one, I don't understand how people get through it. But then you multiply that by an Ironman. So it's like every time I try and comprehend one, it's like, no, forget that one. But I was wondering, and maybe the audience too, what got you into racing and moving from just, let's say, a 5K to even a marathon to Ironman? Because I have a pool and I just look at it. It looks nice, but I don't know how to swim.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Speaking of injuries, I decided I would get into the CrossFit craze, and I would go at noon during lunch every day. And I started hurting myself. I was terrible at muscle ups. I couldn't do handstand push-ups, and anything over my head, I was just a disaster. But I was so competitive, and I hated losing. So one injury, my wife said, "Why don't you just start swimming?" You know, basically, it's over. Throw in the towel. Just exercise. Don't get hurt anymore. Just go to the gym like a regular person. And I said, no way. So
you are now.
I decided to enroll in a local uh, Olympic triathlon. And the morning of, they canceled the swim. So I looked at my buddy and I said, let's do the half. It's only a bike and a run. And we did it. And it was brutal. We had no idea what we were doing. My legs were cramping when I got off the bike. But the minute I finished and I got home, I said, I'm signing up to do an Ironman. So I signed up that night to do Ironman France was my first one. And, you know, you asked the question about a marathon. I just did the Boston Marathon about 3 weeks ago, and I find that marathon to be the hardest thing I've ever done.
They say
It's
the end of it is
just,
hard, right? Isn't it like the end of the hill
it's,
or something?
you have to be very strategic. Yes, there's Heartbreak Hill. There's
Yes.
about 5 hills from mile 16 to 21. And for some reason, I mean, I think the shorter the race, which is typical, you go a little bit harder. So for an Ironman, I can do long distances and hard things for a long period of time, but I'm not going that hard or that fast, I would say. So for me, swimming is a warm up and makes my body feel better. Cycling is brutal, but by the time you get off the bike 5, 6 hours, you're like, God, I just want to run. I just want to get this over with. And then you're going much slower on the marathon, but the sense of the satisfaction and the exhilaration you feel when you cross the finish line of an Ironman is like no other.
George, I got to tell you, 5 or 6 hours on a bike, and this guy wants to run. I want to go to bed. But
Yeah.
listen, so
5 hours doing anything is not
yeah,
easy.
here's a question I have for you, Greg, if you don't mind, because listen, with Parkinson's, a lot of people don't realize how on a dime your symptoms can change from on periods to off periods. So like I spoke to Pat Morrissey, like he rode like 40 days in the Pacific Ocean on a rowing team. So my question is, how do you train differently once you know you have Parkinson's for such an event? And you're like you just said, you're out in distances. I mean, you're out on a bike for long periods of a time. How do you adjust when you feel yourself starting to have an off period? Like, do you change your meds beforehand? I mean, how does that work?
It's a great question. It's a science project.
I'm
So
sure.
the training has totally changed. The race has changed for me, and a new race has chosen me. So the way I train now is trying to stay in shape. I used to go from 15 to 20 hours a week to now I'm doing 7 to 10, maybe on the peak of 12 hours. But I can't run as much as I did. So my swimming's up, my strength training is up. And my medication, I have alarms everywhere. My watch, my cell phone, my bike computer. I have to stay on the medicine because if I don't, especially when I run, my toes curl,
Yeah.
my calf cramps, my right arm stops swinging, and everything derails. I mean,
And do you have the
I
ability?
don't know.
Do you have the ability to do those things? Like, if you feel you're coming due. I mean, if you're swimming or on a bike, do you stop? Do you do it while you're running?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, so I usually put out Ziploc bags and I always carry two of each because I've dropped one and I've lost a pill. But I do carry them with me the whole time, all the time. I take it before the swim and after the swim, so I know I'm okay. I don't need it on the swim. But I'll take it in transition or I'll take it in during the bike. But I will stop. I will take medication. I will stop and go to the bathroom, which is a conversation that a lot of people don't. When I talk about an Ironman, if you notice, most people don't stop. Um,
yeah.
but I am pretty strategic in my race planning and my training on when to take my medicine and when I'm gonna train. So
Right. Can I ask you this? This has nothing to do with Ironman, but me personally, I noticed just guy to guy with your medication, I started finding that like it's almost like as I know my pills wearing off, I have to take it immediately to catch it because if it stops and it's almost like you start from scratch again. It's almost like you're
yeah,
catching it before it goes. I mean, did you find that as well or no?
yeah, I can feel it. It's funny. I feel it in my foot. So as soon as I start to get that sensation of that toe curling
Yeah.
or that tight
Right.
cramp, I'm reaching in my pocket because I'm the same as you. It would reset another 30, 40 minutes before
Exactly.
it starts to kick in and I got to start walking. But I'm not ashamed. I mean, I walk every training day a little bit just to shake it out. And I used to stop my watch and feel sorry for myself. And now it's part of it. It's okay.
It's called acceptance, brother. I mean, and what
Yeah.
you're doing. I mean, listen, somebody wise once told me Parkinson's does not define you; it's just a part of you. And God bless you for what you're doing because you are a shining example of how to just break through the barriers and climb the hurdles and just get through it. God bless you.
Thank you.
And Greg, you mentioned Boston was pretty tough. Was that the hardest one? And then the other question is, as we all need, I guess, some motivation some days, or many most days. I know at the end of the 5K for me, when I was going to pass out, it's Florida, it's hot. I thought of everybody, like literally Tim, my mother, and everyone out there, and said, "Just shut up, George, keep going. This is it. Just, you have no back pain. All this doesn't matter because Parkinson to me." Wish we could find a cure so that I don't have to see you or Tim or our listeners struggle, or that my mother would literally still be holding my hand, doesn't matter what age. But what's that moment, that the toughest part of the Ironman, that maybe part of you, the guy here says to give up, and the stronger man guy beats him up and says, "You're not giving up. You're going to keep going."
Yeah, I think, well, two things. It's your why. I think everybody should sit down and think about what their why is. For me, it's my kids, and I'm hard on them with sports and school. We expect a lot out of them, and I don't want to preach something that I can't do. And they see me, they see me struggling, and they're big motivators of mine. My boys push me too and say, "Dad, I think you're ready to go back and do this." And so it's special for me. That's my big motivation. But it's funny, I was standing in the start corral, walking to the front of the Boston Marathon, and leading up to it, I was complaining about a calf injury and an Achilles injury. And I was in the adaptive athlete corral, which is another thing I was embarrassed of last year, and I embrace it this year. And the gentleman in front of me had a prosthetic leg, and half his calf muscle on his other leg was blown off. So it put everything in perspective for me. That, and I know we're talking specifically about Parkinson's, but it really just, I stood there for a minute and I said, this guy would do anything to have calf pain.
Yep.
He would do
Somebody's always got
anything
it
to
worse.
have an Achilles injury. And I'm sitting here feeling sorry for myself. So I looked at him. I said, "Let's do this." And we started the race together. We gave a fist pump, and I went on my way. So things, taking a minute when you're in a bad place to realize it could always be worse, and just to try and have a positive spin on it.
That's a
And
good
if
way to
you're
look at it, but because I got to tell you, I have three boys myself, and my acceptance of this disease changed the moment I told them. And like, I'm always fearful of going out with them and embarrassing them. They're athletes, and I don't want to embarrass them. But when my boys look me in the eye and say, "Listen, we got you.
Yeah.
You're a dad. Screw anybody who doesn't look at you the right way." I mean, there's power in that. There's confidence in that. And I don't look back, man. I mean, it's an amazing thing. And like you said, that's why we do what we do, because you have to talk the talk and walk the walk. And, I always say to my kids, it's not how hard you fall, or how many times you fall, it's how you get back up. And you're a shining example of how to just get up and do it, man. And I applaud you.
And
Thank
Greg,
you.
just a follow-up, have your kids been able to do the Ironman with you yet or not?
No, you know
No.
what they've done a couple of triathlons.
Oh, good.
It's not something they've wanted to stick to. There was one down here in Miami that they did, and
I was there. So.
you, the one at the racetrack in Homestead. And it's just, I think it's one of those things where you have to be a swimmer as a child to do it as a young person. And neither one of them were trained swimmers. They can swim fine, but I have a tennis player and a soccer player, and there's no extra time
No, mine are
at this
soccer players.
age. Yeah.
So,
I'm going
so
to send it back to Tim for a follow-up.
I'm going to ask you my last question. As far as we talked about the mental aspect of it, we talked about the physical aspect of your training. What does diet look like? Not so much because of your Ironman, just in general. Guy with Parkinson's. Do you follow a certain diet? Things you avoid? Things you like?
So I've been struggling with my weight. I've lost a lot of weight, and I think just being new to all the medication, my appetite is off a little bit. So I am probably not the best role model for a diet. Uh, and be being in South Florida this time of the year and training, it is hard to put weight on. Just the heat, and no matter what time you start, it's just brutal. I'm just losing water weight all the time. So and the amount I'm training, I can eat most anything I want. I don't eat poorly, but I don't follow a specific diet. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
And what's your next plan? Because we've seen the past, the future looks amazing, but is there something you're planning that you're allowed to share as a top secret on the next journey
Yeah.
for Greg?
No, I am going to be competing this weekend in Ironman 70.3 Chattanooga, which will be my 20th Ironman event. So that includes the 70.3s and fulls.
I don't
And
even know how you
then
make it through the airport, the traveling. I forget the race. That's the hardest part.
actually, it's funny you say that. The hardest part is getting your bike and your suitcase out of the airport into, half the taxis look at you and they're like, no.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, the travel is a struggle. And then I have a little bit of a break, and in September, gonna compete in the Ironman World Championship 70.3 in Nice, France. And I am competing this year in Kona in October in the World Championship Ironman. And I have to thank, I have to thank Ironman Foundation for the opportunity, because I would not have been able to qualify for Kona on my own. So the last race I did was in 2022 there, and that's where I knew something was wrong on that race course. That ultimately, that's where I found out I had Parkinson's, because I had taken about 2 hours and 35 minutes longer than any other race I ever did. And when I was running, my right leg just wasn't working, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And that race propelled me to go to the doctor's office. So my goal is to go and beat that time from 2022. And, let's see. I might miss by a mile, but we're going to try.
You're already a winner, brother. You're trying it. That's a
That's
magnet.
it.
Good.
One important thing about the show, I want to just also is not just to support the community, but also to support you. How can everyone listening also join in, whether donate or just follow along on your incredible journey?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I appreciate that. So GregorySchaefer.com. My wife and my family and I, we started Forward Motion Fund, and we have a tab up on the top. And, my wife being a physician, research was a big part of her dermatology career. We're trying to make it a big part of our Parkinson's community, and, do our part to give back. And, Forward Motion Fund, we have a tab that they can give, and all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds will go to Parkinson's donations that we choose from. So, for example, Michael J. Fox, and, different Parkinson's charities and local hospitals and the movement clinics. So we're trying to bring awareness. I am racing this year for, a bigger cause. And, one of the things that's special to me is I designed a bike with a famous artist here in South Florida, Rosanna Kalis, and her last name is Kalis. And she designed the bike with dopamine and the brain cells exploding out of the bike. So it's
Wow.
been something that's really eye-catching,
That's
and
cool.
it's making people ask, you know, this isn't the actual bike. It's actually on my Instagram page, G Schaefer, undefined. There you go. That's the bike there. And if you look, there's dopamine symbols in the back, and she made that the engine, or the brain that creates dopamine,
That's cool.
and uh, the neurological pathways that push the dopamine through the body. So I love this bike. It's
Let's not forget the
been,
beautiful dog.
yeah, my buddy
Yeah,
Duke.
we have
But
one too.
I'm hoping though the bike makes people realize, who we are, and help us raise some funds for people in need, and some caretakers. So, and I appreciate everything you do. You're keeping it going for your family, and that means a lot to all of us in the community.
No, I appreciate it. Wanted to send the show. Actually, before I do it, we wrap up. Is there anything also that you wanted to share with everyone? I mean, we're going to definitely, I hope everyone will subscribe to your all your social media, I believe YouTube, Instagram, and we'll share the page too. Is there anything like a message of encouragement you might be able to leave too for the community?
Um, I just think I think the most important thing is, get up on Monday. Never ever miss a Monday. Um, just stack days. Try, and if you can get up and take 100 steps, And the next day, take 101 steps. Do what you can do that day. And as we all know, many days I wake up and I say, today is not the day. But, if you're a caretaker, if you're a patient, if you're alone, reach out to one of us because there's many people that feel alone, but you're not, and we're all in the same shoes. So, I think don't be silent, reach out, talk to people, express how you feel, but just get up on Monday. That's my big message. Never ever miss a Monday.
Love it.
Thank you. I want to just send the show for our famous end the show quote from the amazing Tim.
Putting a lot of pressure on me today, George.
Sorry.
So we always like Greg. We always like to end the show with a motivational quote from somebody in the field. I don't know if you know this person, but somebody once said, "Don't wish for an easy life. Wish for the strength to endure a meaningful one. The path without obstacles leads nowhere worth going. Face the storm, not to survive it, but to become something stronger because of it." I don't know if you know that person, but that was you. And I got to tell you, like we were just talking about, the first step is the hardest. Once you take it, just keep moving forward. There's going to be steps back. I get it. There's going to be obstacles, but step one is you got to have it right here, and you got to wake up and be willing to fight. And you're a shining example of that, sir. And I'm so honored to have you on this show.
Well, thank you guys. It's my pleasure. I love being here, and I love the Iron Man backgrounds.
Courtesy of our expert, Tim. And I'm echo that thoughts. Again, it's been an honor to get to know you. I look forward to hopefully meeting soon. It's nice to meet fellow New Yorker and South Floridian. And
George,
also,
listen, this guy's weight is down. He lives like 2 miles from me. Why don't you cook up some steaks? Get him
Yeah,
to your house, man.
I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna see you on June 6th, hopefully. So,
Get him over to
and
the mansion.
I gotta get that picture behind you with the snorkel and the swimmies because I feel like I need that some days.
I train. I don't know if you know Plantation in Central Park, but I trained
Of
in fact.
course.
That's where I passed the training to get into the FBI as an agent. And I don't. I tried to do that same thing, and I wouldn't have even qualified. But that's so it's funny, familiar, places and things. But it's again, I'm just grateful for your the opportunity to have a moment because we know how busy you are and
Sure.
national attention, and sometimes the little guys like just honor because we still feel that individuals like yourself impacts us too, and so many out there. And again, I always hope, I know Tim will agree, if we just reach one person today that feels alone like I did when my mother was struggling. We didn't even know Parkinson's had the word disease, and we were told by so many people she would be okay and things, and that just isn't how the cards turned out. But on some tough days, which I've actually been having lately too, and Tim knows, and not just this, but even advocacy, I've been doing it for 6 years and kind of feel some days it's like I'm at the
Yeah,
point where there's not much left. We're actually doing a documentary and we're trying to get a little red carpet event, which you'll be getting invited to, and Tim too, down here in Florida. But anyway,
Is it going to be at Casa de Ackerman or no?
no, for you, that'll be the private part. But but again, when I come across an individual like yourself who will make the time for us, it just that pushes me to realize that we still have work to be done until the cure is here. We'll all be right
yeah,
by one another's side, and again, grateful, and even more importantly, also grateful for my friend Tim. I had the
yeah,
honor, we didn't get to talk, but to see him the second time, I never dreamt I'd be able to meet him once, or let alone twice. And my wife met him, which is even more important to me because unfortunately it's hard, with timing. If everyone's got 3 kids, I think, and it's just tough. But to be able to even that moment, I don't think I'll ever forget. So I'm looking forward
yeah.
to the same with you, Greg. And we're gonna have to drag Tim from New Jersey and his family to Florida because I don't think they'll leave. Like everyone who
I'm on my
comes
way.
and the policies,
Yeah.
everything. It's just it's hot today and raining. But anyway, we could
Well,
talk.
the advocacy is hard, but you
Yeah,
can't stop you because we need you.
thanks.
And I feel what you're saying. And some days you say, "Why the hell am I doing this?" But don't stop. You're doing an awesome thing, and we all appreciate it very much.
Well, this
So
show I feel will live on. It's, we do these shows maybe 20, 30 minutes, but they live on literally forever. I mean, I remember And Tim also has a show. We look back sometimes on the days where we might have a show and maybe we're tired and we see the ones we've done and share them again. It's just amazing. So hope everyone will support all the work you're doing and definitely stay tuned. I know I feel like going outside now and running, but just thinking of you. But if I ever am with you, I'm not going to be able to do it together.
It is Monday. It is
Yeah.
Monday. Let's go.
Well, we want to thank you also, and thank you, Tim. Show's only possible with everyone's support out there in the community. We've been getting people writing, thanking us, so it means a lot more than something. And if you have a guest or someone in the sports world, we would love to have them on. And I think again, we're gonna have a few shows where we just talk sports. That's what we originally were gonna
Yeah.
do that, but it's so many inspiring people, we haven't even done that yet. So
We'll get there.
Well,
yeah.
let's go next.
There you go. I like it.
They're on a run. They're on a
I
run.
like it.
Well, thank
So
you all again. Thanks everyone in this beautiful community. Thank your families. Thank everyone outside of the community. We need everybody in this fight. This has been another episode of All Star PD Sportscast where we discuss the world of sports and slowing the progression of Parkinson's. No one is alone. This show proves it, and you can be sure even after the lights, camera, and paparazzi leave today, we'll still be fighting right by your side. We love you, and we'll see you soon. Thanks,
Love you
everyone.
guys. Thank you.